So why hasn't the AMC short squeeze happened yet? And the fucking MOASS, baby. Why hasn't the MOASS happened? Why aren't those tendies in my fucking account yet? Well, besides obvious reasons, which is the shorts have not covered. We all know that. That's nothing new. I'm not trying to patronize you here. I know you're not stupid. And besides the manipulation, the corruption, the failure to deliver, the dark pools, the synthetics, and the list goes on and fucking on. We all know that already, okay? I'm not trying to pretend like I'm presenting new information to you here because I know you already know this. We all know this. But why I think the squeeze hasn't happened yet is we gotta scratch the surface a little. We gotta dig a little bit deeper and ask a more important question, which is why haven't the shorts covered yet? And I believe the reason is, this might be obvious too, they don't fucking respect us. They think we're a bunch of dumb apes, which we've conveniently called ourselves. But no, obviously, I don't know. Actually, I don't know where did the word ape come from? Was it Wall Street that gave it to us, or did we give it to ourselves? I actually don't know that answer. So if you know that answer, let me know in the comments below. But Wall Street has been referring to us, Main Street. I think that's a better term, you know. Fuck being called an ape, it is kind of embarrassing. I think something better is maybe Main Street, which we've been referred to a lot as well, or the retail investor. But anyways, Wall Street has been referring to Main Street as the dumb money for a long time. That's not new news. And I think the reason why the squeeze hasn't happened is because they don't respect us. And I think they have a lot of good reason not to respect us. If you were on the outside looking in to us, our community, our movement, you would probably think, like, what in the fuck is going on there? We are disorganized. We are fucking very dysfunctional. That is the understatement of the century. Because again, I always look to the past for clues, not for confirmation bias, which that's a term if you haven't heard of, you got to look up. I don't look to the past for confirmation bias and for reasons of, okay, well, this happened in the past, this has to happen in the future, because I've said it before, excuse me, the past is not a guarantee or a predictor of future events. However, the past does leave clues. And if we look at, you know, what is on the books right now as arguably the greatest short squeeze of all time, the Volkswagen squeeze, all that squeeze took was for Porsche to build a very large position, as well as what was held with the government, and then all of the ETFs, because capitalization weight, that was the word I was trying to think of in that previous video. Basically, the shorts got painted into a corner. About 1% of shares were actually available, and roughly 99% was owned by the good side, the non-short side. And all that it took to prick that bubble was Porsche made an announcement on Sunday evening that, hey guys, we're aware that there's a very large short interest in this stock, and it was only about 12.5%. What happened Monday morning is the shorts fucking, oops, we're caught, holy fuck, and it was basically a game of musical chairs, right? Which is what a short squeeze is. It's musical chairs. Everybody's trying to get the fuck out and sit in a seat before there's no seats left, and you get left holding the bag, so to speak. Some of this shit, I wonder, have we been conditioned from day one? Because we played musical chairs in, you know, when we were wee little lads and gals. So where was I going with this? So where I was going with this is all that took was Porsche to identify to the market that, hey, this is going on. And I've talked about this before, the efficient market hypothesis theories, which basically states that the price of a security in real time is its exact true value, its true intrinsic and market value, because the market supposedly is so intelligent and so smart and so sophisticated with all of these analysts and all these computers, everybody crunching all this data, big data, all that shit. Everybody is looking at all of the information that's available and thus determining the price of a security. Now, I believe in the efficient market hypothesis theory to a certain degree, and to a certain degree I don't, because things get missed. And in the Volkswagen case, it was missed. Things were creeping up. Porsche was building its position. Short interest was rising, and no one was the wiser until Porsche made that announcement. So Where in our case, again, the efficient market hypothesis theory, in our case, it's very fucking well known that the short interest is extremely high and the float is basically owned by us. At least we think, right? The other side must know that, don't they? They must. How do they not? So if everything is known, if all those variables are known, the short interest is high, we own the float, why the fuck haven't they sold yet? The only thing that I can think of is that it's basically a staring match, a staring contest. It's basically a game of who can hold out the longest. And I think they believe that we are a bunch of idiots and that they can wait us out. Which I see why they think that, right? Because as retail, obviously a lot of the purchases of this stock has been through government stimulus and all that kind of shit. And they think if they just wait us out long enough, that we'll eventually get bored, we'll move on to something else, or we'll need that money, like Richie. Yeah, bud, just like you, Richie, you needed the money, so you sold. There's going to be, maybe some other people in that situation. So that's the only thing I can think of. They're waiting us out. But as we wait them out, we're making them fucking pay. We're making them bleed. They're paying interest on these shares that they're borrowing. So obviously that's been discussed. I'm not, I'm not claiming that's the strategy, is keep hodling, because that's been well discussed. That horse has been beaten to death, which is what we're doing. But I think a lot of it is just, they just don't fucking respect us. Excuse me. And by studying the enemy, let's go back to June, okay? Let's talk about June, when we ran up to $70-some. Whether you like this or not, whether you agree with this or not, we have to identify things that happen. We have to give credit where credit is due. We can't bury our heads in the sand. That is not a strategy. And those fucks diamond-handed, didn't they? I mean, obviously some positions were covered and we gamma squeezed, but not all of the positions were covered, which means they fucking diamond-handed all the way up to $70-some without covering. Some did, but most didn't, which is why we didn't have the MOASS. So I think that says a lot about the enemy. They were willing to diamond hand all the way up to $70-some, billions of dollars in potential losses, and they didn't fucking cover. Again, I keep coming back to the same thing. The only thing I can think of is they just do not respect us. They think they can wait us out. So what is it going to be, guys? There has to be something. I've said this before. There has to be something. There has to be a moment where something changes. There's an event or a change in sentiment or whatever it is. There has to be a shift. Something that changes their thought process, their sentiment of, oh shit, we need to get, like, all of us, not just a couple hedgies, like all of them are like, we need to get the fuck out now. And gosh, I wish I had the answer for you. I wish I knew what it was, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and pretend like I do, because I don't. I sure as fuck don't. Who am I? But nobody does. What is it going to be? What is it going to be that they finally decide to close out their positions? Because think about yourself for a moment. Why do you buy or sell a stock, right? There's a reason. Because something changes, right? You buy a stock because something changes. Something got you excited. There was, a new patent or a new technology or something, right? Something got you excited, you bought the stock. And the same in selling. Something changed, right? You no longer believed in your trade. You no longer believed in holding that stock anymore, so you sold it. Well, it's no different with them. They are in their short positions because they believe something. They believe in their conviction, no different than we believe in our conviction. And something has to rock that conviction to a core on their side that they finally fucking cover. What is it going to be? Is it going to be a managed event like Lou says? I think a lot of people misinterpret what Lou says with a managed event. What I think Lou means with a managed event, I talked about this before, is that basically the government is going to step in and say, hey guys, the gig's up, music stopped, it's time to close out your positions. This is what's going to happen, right? This is the deal we're going to strike or whatever. You're going to sell at this and you're going to just have to do it. Doesn't matter. I think a managed event is bad because it ruins the integrity of the US stock market, and there's a lot of fucking eyeballs on this. There's a lot of people watching. The world is watching. So I don't like the idea of a managed event, but I wouldn't put it past them because look, talked about it in another video, look what happened in 2008, 2009. That was basically a managed event. The government intervened. And when I was watching that, I was going, holy shit, this is the end of the free market and the US economy as we fucking know it. But look at us now. We're still arguably the most powerful economy on this planet. I say arguably because some people think China is. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is a tough one, right? This is a really, really tough one. Like I said, something has to happen on that side. Something has to change. And I think, honestly, I think it's going to be an algorithmic event because a lot of this trading, if not all of it, is done by computers now. Something is going to trip the algorithm and start the sell-off. What is it going to be, though? Like, obviously, if I had that answer, if anybody had that answer, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you on YouTube with 80 subscribers. I'd be a fucking quadrillionaire with all the money in the world because I would just take it from everybody because I possess that knowledge. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Let's have a conversation. I think there needs to be more of this. There's less blowhards on YouTube just spouting off and more constructive conversation. Let's do it down below. Peace!